mean,
on that note, I'll say we're in.
All right.
We're in.
We're in. Good
All right.
deal. Oh, man. What a day. What a day. What a day. What a day. Let's get to it. Good ideas? Bad ideas?
Buy a bunch of expensive ingredients, use them all at once, and it just masks the flavor of everything you were trying to do. There's the bad idea.
That's the bad idea.
The good idea is buy nice ingredients. The bad idea is just use too many and mask the flavor.
What are we talking? What didn't go?
The link I made last week. So I had found this chili Chago cheese, and I like when I make a sausage link, I kind of base it around the cheese and work backwards.
Yeah.
So I was talking to Tyler Hodge.
Sup, Hodge?
Yeah, and he was like, "Why don't you do like a maple blueberry with it?" And so I started thinking, it's like, well, I don't really want to. I've seen other people do maple blueberry, that combination. So I immediately thought, oh, why don't I do figs?
Okay, I dig
So
figs.
yeah, so went maple fig chili Chago. Then I'm looking around Buford Highway Farmers Market and spot black garlic. It's like, oh, why don't I add some black garlic?
Yeah.
Why don't I add some rosemary? And then it just ate too sweet. So I either need to take off like.
Gotta do a little bit of editing.
Yeah. The concept's there. Just needs to dial it back a bit.
What is it? Pops always says, "I see where you're going with it. I see where you're going with it."
Yeah. Well, it was an expensive. I see where you're going with it.
Hey.
Oh, shout out to Fox Brothers. I posted the picture of all the ingredients. He goes, $20 challenge, and I go, no, I failed that miserably.
Yeah. I love that the guys. Listen, shout out to them. They were over in for the Charleston Food and Wine. I thought.
No, they were there for the Rock the Block.
That's right.
Home team.
That's right.
Yeah.
Home team. Okay, yeah. And there was a lot of barbecue going on. There was a lot of cats like Rodney and Sam and everyone was out there for Food and Wine. Anthony Swiggin Swine and them were out there. Then you had
Hector Garate of Palmera.
Yeah, Tank was out doing his barbecue university. Had B over there. Had a lot of good guys over there. Shout out to Bear. Yeah, man. Last week was. I would definitely say barbecue season is here and upon us.
Oh, speaking of Tyler, he's in for a barbecue off.
Right on.
He wants his portion to be donated to fight ALS.
Hey, right
Yeah,
on.
so.
I'm gonna see, ladies and gentlemen, the power of barbecue and a little bit of healthy competition.
Honestly, and then there was Big Don's Meats down in Perth, Australia.
Mm-hmm.
He hit up Grasslands Barbecue and I.
And the one time you're not wearing their hat.
One time I'm not wearing their hat.
Shout out to Keenan. Keenan, I'm a size really big head here.
Size dreads.
Yeah, size.
He hit us up in January and asked if we wanted to do. He called it a snag off instead of a sausage off because they're called snags down there. So we might expand this thing and do like a sausage off. Like his idea was, we all do the same concept every 1 week. And see who's comes out better, just to see.
Okay.
Yeah. So
we may have something. And you said Hodge wants it to go to ALS.
Yeah, to fight ALS.
Right on. I'm all about that. Like anything down for a cause. Like the guy who's like, I forgot whoever it was. Like, I'm gonna beat your squad. Like, I don't care. Put some money up, donate to a good cause, and then you've got my attention to do some good. See, and this is the healthy, fun stuff because I gotten some stuff for that. Like, oh, you're just being money stuff. It's like, no, it's like let's one, my attention is time and time is money, and two, let's do good with our craft and our reach. I don't want to just be goofing around.
I'm trying to think of where we'll all be, and the only thing I think of is, do we just do it at Holy Smoke?
Yeah, I would. That's what I said. I was perfectly fine with doing it at Holy Smokes, and I'll reach out to Anthony and everybody over there. We'll make it a whole thing. Maybe see if any of the cats from Truther or Moose, see if Andrew and them want to toss in, and we just have a whole another side pot for donations going on. I know.
We're gonna have a guy walking around just taking bets the whole time.
But that's the thing. One, there's a lot of things you got to know about us smoke rollers here. We're crazy because this is what we literally find the longest way to cook a protein and do it and enjoy it over and over again. We are very highly functional alcoholics, and we like a little bit of healthy competition. No one's bad-mouthing. I never said anything bad about Tyler. I love him. I love his work ethic, his drive. This man puts in work, which I love to see.
Right.
But I still got 5 on my man. I still got 5 on my man, so let's go.
Speaking of which, welcome to This Week in Barbecue. Hey! And you can finish there.
The Barbecue Focus podcast that introduces you to both the good, the bad, and everything in between in the world of barbecue. I'm your host, Rasheed Phillips, and joining me is my amazing bearded co-host, Mr.
Brian Hull.
And the voice you hear, but the face you do not yet see, Mr.
Lee Garman.
See, ladies and gentlemen, we've got it together. We're snappy now, late. Snappy. We're right there.
The voice you see, but the face you don't hear.
I
Come on. No. I mixed it. I did it on purpose. Yeah.
No, so this week we have a slew of news updates and a plethora, yes, I am using my word of the day calendar, ladies and gentlemen, of
Got
questions.
The thesaurus pulled up in front of you.
Just ready to go.
Yeah.
All types. You want to kick it off?
Yeah, let's get the stuff that I should have mentioned last week. That I specifically wore their hat to mention it and then forgot. So this is my fault.
And then not wearing their hat today.
Yeah, and I'm not wearing a hat, but I put it in the notes, so I'll actually read it.
There we go.
So Grasslands Barbecue is back.
Good deal.
So if you're watching live, they are at Holy Mountain Brewing today through Sunday.
Nice.
They actually also did a beer that they're releasing this week with Holy Mountain Brewing.
Good deal.
So that's in Seattle. Then next week they're back at Hood River in the Gorge.
Okay.
Back to like doing it every weekend.
Nice.
So they took they hibernated for the winter.
I don't blame them.
And then came back. So
That's how you do it. No, I don't blame them. I dig that they've got a beer. Yours truly has a beer, and we're actually in the midst right now. Those of you listening are in the know. Get a little preview information. In the midst of working on 3 more, so we will have a collective of 4 beers coming out very, very soon. We're in a lot of markets right now too, so that's always really good, and it goes quick.
Could we make the whatever ad or anything that we do, just you as a quartet?
Yeah, yes, we got green screen. We can make that happen.
I know.
I'm perfectly fine with that. So we've got 4, and it will be a total of 4. And the end goal for me is to do a 6-pack, so you can do a party 6 and go from there. But a lot of fun stuff in the works. People are like, what are you doing now these days? I'm doing this podcast. I'm trying to entertain you people during at least once a week, bring you a little bit of joy, a little humor, and a little bit of knowledge if we're lucky.
Oh, and another thing, again, this weekend, we should have mentioned it last week, but I didn't like when I saw people posting about it. Yeah. I didn't realize how many barbecue joints were going to be there. So Devil's Backbone Boudin and Gumbo Festival, it is on this Sunday, March 12th. People's Choice Smoked Boudin judging is cost $20, and there's 18 teams competing. So
wow.
Brotherton's Black Iron Barbecue, 2M Smokehouse, 1701 Barbecue, Gonzo's
Shout out guys at 2M.
Gonzo's Barbecue, Red On Barbecue, Regal's Barbecue, Interstellar, Hurtado, Bad Wolf, Sunbird, and a bunch of others.
The whole crew, man, yeah. They're putting in hella work.
So it's a $20 ticket, and that will get you in to taste gumbo and boudin. And then you can, cast your vote for what you think is the best boudin.
Okay, all right.
So that is, let's see where that is. That's in Fisher, Texas. And yeah, $10 entry for gumbo contestants, and then $20 entry to do the boudin tasting and judging.
Nice.
So affordable.
Okay. I've got one on my books here. The Luck Reunion is actually happening in March 16th. It is actually held in Willie Nelson's backyard. There's going to be food, drinks, all types of fun stuff. If there's a way I can go kick it in Willie's backyard.
His literal backyard?
Yeah.
Oh.
His own land.
I bet he's got a big backyard then.
I'm pretty sure he does. I'm fairly sure he's got all types of amazing plants and what have you in that backyard.
Herbs. They're
herbs. Fresh herbs, spices, aromatics, potpourri, all that stuff. All with a different effect if flame touches them. But I wanted to put that out there. And since you're talking about boudins and what have you, Origins New Orleans Takeover is March 18th in Texas. It's a fusion between Louisiana cuisine and Texas cuisine, and that's March 18th. We'll have the link in the show notes there. There's a lot of fun stuff. Like there's majority of the news this week is just a lot of stuff happening. Like the season is back, barbecue season is here. Air's going to smell like smoke. Wood will be burning. Brisket prices will be increasing again. But
they actually went down.
No, that's what I'm saying. They will be increasing.
Yeah, but they actually went down.
Yeah, I think what is it, $3.49 somewhere?
Yeah, like from $3.99 though.
Yeah.
So it dropped 50 cents.
Yeah, I'll take 50 cents. He had a great debut album.
Brisket prices, or I guess meat prices in general, climb up as the season.
Oh yeah,
going.
especially when you
Definitely.
get closer to May and anything before July 4th, especially like July 4th, starting in back end of May, beginning of June, especially with like pork prices.
Yeah.
Pork prices and ribs will shoot up
Yeah.
going into July 4th.
Okay.
You'll get around Memorial Day weekend is usually when it's like, hey guys, these are going to be the prices for a while. We'll see you in September. You know.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, I remember way back, and they've done it weirdly sometimes, but Kroger used to do a 89 cent a pound butt, and I'll never forget. I saw it and I called. I was in there just grabbing regular groceries, and I called Keebler. Shout out to Richard and the whole fam. Sorry for your guys' loss. We love you guys. You know, hope all is well. But reached out to Richard. I was like, brother, you need to go right now to your local Kroger. He's like, man, I'm already in here. I'm already here. I literally had one of the buggies full. I took all they had because I'm like 89 cents a pound.
They didn't limit it?
No, this was before they started putting caps on it. Now I think if you try to do that, you can only get like
Half a
5
cart.
or 10, or the machine taps out and you have to redo the order. But 89 cents a pound, whether you have a good provider or not, that is still a hell of a good deal. So at that point, I'd racked up. That was one of the reasons I'd bought and gotten an extra deep freeze because of that deal. I was like, yeah, I'll do it. Worth it. Oh. This one right here, this next one goes out to my buddy Jared from How Low Can You Slow? He's doing a brisket class at Modern BBQ Supply Shop. It's Brisket 101 on April 1st. No, this is no joke because he takes what he does seriously. It's a 2-hour course, but it's only $50. I'll do that. 'Cause we've seen Pittman and the Cats do, their 5-hour course for like $600-700. There's a lot of courses out there for a fair amounts, but if you're just getting into brisket, you're trying to get the basics under your belt, wanting a nice brief intro. You don't have a ton of time to go through for the day. A nice short 2-hour course for $50 at a barbecue supply shop. Why not?
Apparently April 1st is the day of brisket classes.
It seems like it because that's in Boise. That's in Boise, Idaho. You got to say Boise like you're from Boston.
So over in Grand Prairie, Texas, Joe Zavala's Barbecue's doing a brisket class that day too.
Did I miss something? Should we be doing a brisket barbecue class on
April
1st? Just to follow the cool kids?
But is it all just a joke? I mean, that's the real question.
It could be. Speaking of jokes, this has absolutely nothing to do with barbecue, but have you guys seen the trailer for Who's Having My Baby? Which anyone who knows, you could tell, like, this is obviously a joke, but you guys should have definitely saved this for April Fool's Day. Who's Having My Babies was a prank of a new show that Kevin Hart and Nick Cannon are doing. Actually, let me rephrase that. It's not a new show. It's just a rebranded show. So it's called Celebrity Prank Wars, a.k.a. Punked with black people. And Kevin Hart and Nick Cannon always punk and played tricks and pranks on each other. I think Kevin had a Trojan vending machine delivered to Nick's house after his 10th baby. All it did was distribute condoms. And then Nick Cannon had a real llama delivered to Kevin's house as a gift, like, all right, hey, it's here. I think Kevin still has the llama on his property. So it's Celebrity Prank Wars, and Who's Having My Baby was their trailer where Kevin was playing the host and they were trying to find Nick Cannon's next baby mama. So that was their...
Honestly, the Who's Having Your Baby is not a bad title, but America's Next Baby Mama is a better title.
I'm putting that in there.
You can find that next to Physical 100 on Netflix starting next year.
America's Physical 100 is actually a really good show.
Physical 100 was pretty dope, actually.
I was like, this is pretty badass. It's like, I'm sure it will only be a matter of time before there's a U.S. version of it.
I don't think you can do the U.S. version because everybody was so polite.
That's true. They really were. They were cheering and so gracious. Yeah, the U.S. there'll be a lot of cussing and hatred and not helping. Yeah.
Yeah, the drama on the U.S. one skyrocket.
They'll put it on MTV right after
Honestly,
MTV Real
if
World
they did it
Challenge.
like an international one where you just brought in people from every different nation,
That'd be interesting.
like bring in 10 people, like so do 20 countries and bring in 5 people from each nation.
That's also another banger idea. Anybody out there listening?
Sorry, thanks. You're welcome, Netflix.
Yeah. What's your next news? What you got?
Okay, so Fort Worth Food and Wine is coming up.
Okay.
So we've talked about some food and wine stuff before, and how they're highlighting a lot of barbecue. On that Sunday for 2, not April Fools, they're doing the Ring of Fire, a next level cookout. So a ton of barbecue joints are going to be there. Nice. A cool thing that's happening there is going to be the Babes of Q, which is a new podcast from, I'm going to pronounce it wrong. So Patina Miller.
That's what I believe.
Okay, all right, yeah. So if I pronounced it wrong, just correct me.
Yeah, just yell at us in the comments.
She's inviting a bunch of badass female pitmasters to showcase. So it'll be people from like Goldie's, Bosque Ranch, 2M Smokehouse. They're all going to highlight their talents and everything.
Good deal.
Along with a bunch of other barbecue joints there. And so general admission and early access admission are still available for that day.
Nice. What else you got?
Then we got the Southern Living Best Barbecue in Every State, their 2023 list. And we got some friends who made the cut there.
One time for Rick.
So, yeah, Rick, Tropical Smokehouse down in Florida.
Yeah.
The Fox Brothers Barbecue in Georgia.
Rodney
Rodney Scott.
Always the salt and the swine, Mr. Rodney Scott himself.
So I'm trying to think. Wright's Barbecue in Arkansas. I'm trying to think of anybody else that we kind of know.
Either which way, we'll drop the full list there for you guys to check out on your own, but it's great to see barbecuers getting recognized, and it's really a huge shift from what you saw 10 years ago to like even 5 years ago, really. So this barbecue is like the new cool, you know. Speaking of barbecue being the new cool, latest development live, and you heard it second, third, or maybe 112th from Variety. Anthony Anderson and Cedric the Entertainer are launching their own barbecue brand, and Annie is filming it, right? So Anthony has said I've been wanting to do a barbecue line for a long time now. So they're putting together AC Barbecue, and they're trying to learn everything about the world of Q. So what better way to learn than to make it a TV show? And they're going to film it. Personally, I dig it. I like it. You can't tell me a food show with 2 black hosts, one dark brother, because Sad and me, we about 5 minutes before midnight. You can't laugh at that joke.
Sorry.
I can make the joke. You can't laugh.
You can't laugh. No, you're good, brother. No.
So am I not supposed to laugh at what? How much of Chris Rock's special was I not supposed to laugh at?
We're not touching that one here. That's a whole nother episode of itself. No, but they're doing that, and I love to see that because you're not. I can't look back in history and see this type of a dynamic on television for food.
I'll tell you what, it'll be a lot more positive and fun to watch than Hell's Kitchen or like restaurant or whatever the restaurant one was.
I do have to say I'm a little shocked that it's on A&E though. I'm a little lost. Like, is this coming on before or after American Pickers, or after Storage Wars? It's going to be wedged in there, but either which way, I'm happy for them. I'm happy to see 2 brothers making it out there, because the last thing that comes close to this in my mind is with Steven Sutherfield on Netflix's Hound the Hog, and then prior to that would be Roger Mooking's Man Fire Food, where you saw, black male-led food-based shows that were successful. And I believe this will be a success. Cez got a very long and tenured career in Hollywood. So does Anthony, So this is a good little phase for him. I'm excited to see what comes of it. If you guys need a goofy-looking oak tree to oil the cutting boards, I know a guy.
I mean, honestly, I just want to see any famous person get up and do a 3 a.m. rib shift.
Oh, I would love to see them try to break down some briskets, stoke a fire, really pull through.
Do a full whole hog cook?
Yeah, without having like the
with a burn barrel.
I want to know how authentic will this be, and how Hollywood will it be? Like, are you actually trying to learn, Or are you going to be like, oh, you're going to have whoever's guiding you through do all the work? So here's a brief rundown of what they're doing. In a 1 hour episode, Kings of Barbecue, which makes sense because Seth is, one of the original members of the Kings of Comedy. Grew up on that, love it. R.I.P. Bernie. We'll follow Cedric and Anthony as they meet with barbecue chefs, pit masters, and everyday experts who share their knowledge and secrets of the trade, highlighting Black excellence in the industry along the way. From backyards to barbecue pits, the duo will go behind the scenes to master barbecue in all its glory and create a business of their own that honors its legacy and flavors. Along the way, celebrity friends and family will join on the fun and help share how different cultures and experiences have influenced the delicious cooking techniques. So, that could definitely be something. That could be something. There's a lot of plot holes for this to go sideways real quick, but there's a lot more footing for it to be an amazing success. So, it just really depends how serious they are, because you can't have somebody think they can hop in this and do it all and know it all in one season. Like,
yeah, but like the good thing is it's on A&E and not Bravo. If it was on Bravo, you could see which direction they were going to go with it. Besides Top Chef, but you could totally see that.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, it could be fitting. It could actually be the right network, the right channel for them. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see how they get down, how they work a pit. I'm more excited to see what rig they end up getting. I swear to God, if they're on a Traeger, God,
it won't be a Traeger, but it's going to be a Southern Pride.
You think it's going to be a Southern Pride?
I would put money on it probably being a Southern Pride.
How much?
Oh, man.
We just talked at the beginning of the episode how we're going to put money down. What are we putting on this?
I don't think it'd be a Southern Pride. I don't know. It depends on who they meet. Because
it's not going to be.
Well, here's the kicker. They're trying to focus on Black excellence, so they may go with a brother. They may go with golly, I think he's out of Compton actually. He builds pits. He does these like. I like the style, but it's not something I could personally cook on. Oh man, I'll find it and I'll tag it in the show notes. But that may be where they end up going if they're going with the whole Black excellence thing. They may even just grab a Black pit builder.
Hopefully, it's not that like really terrible. Like what was the
diamond plated?
The diamond plated metal.
But I almost wish it is. I almost want it to be. I almost want it to be one of those to start, because if they're really going to get into it, when you're first driving a car, there's no point in putting you in like, Formula One. You need to get that hoopty. That it might start, it might not.
I say this to their price. I mean, they have the money backing them, so they might just drop it on some mill skills or Mobergs or whatever.
Yeah, they may be able to skip the lines ahead, something to phone in and get it done. But that'll be interesting. We'll definitely keep you guys apprised and informed of what happens when it happens, if it does happen. But yeah, this is G Stacks. That's what it is. G Stacks Custom Smokers. That's what I was trying to remember. It's a brother out of that makes all types, and there's, like I said, there's few and far between. But wanted to point that out there. Next story. What do we got cooking?
So Interstellar is bringing back their Space Cowboy series. So they do these like I want to say once they get it rolling, it's usually one Sunday every month. But they bring in a pitmaster from another spot, sometimes out of state, and they'll come and do unique dishes. And it's a really cool thing they've basically done since they opened. Okay. And so they're getting Hector Garate of Palmyra barbecue down in Charleston, and he's going to come out on March 26th for the first Space Cowboy series of the year.
Nice. Yeah. Good deal. Got anything else for us?
Well, I mean, like going on our Wagyu story, Daniel Vaughn posted a follow-up with what he called the Wagyu Glossary of Terms.
Barbecue Snob on the old IGs, ladies and gentlemen.
So if you go to, we have the link to the article. And so all the terms you need to know to really be in or pretend that you know about Wagyu.
Enough to be dangerous, enough to impress your date, and when you go out, like, oh, you know what he's talking about, type of thing. So good on that. I've got some stuff here. Believe we touched on it a little bit, but not only is Big Mo opening up a new restaurant in Texas, he is also going to be doing the Iowa Eats and Drink Festival, which is also April 1st. There's a lot of stuff going April 1st. But
it's all one big joke. It's all
really
the rug
is.
is going to be pulled out from underneath
like,
everyone.
we're all going vegan. And that started.
And we have your money because it's all classes. We're going to show up.
Exactly. It's that's happening at 1 p.m. And just going to bring back a little fun section. We've got a take that I started with the original podcast. We'll call this the Hot and Fast. We're just going to hit you with these next bits right at it so we can get to these questions you guys shot in. But we've got the Brew and Q Festival, June 3rd. They're going to have all types of names there. The dynamic trio, Mr. Bill Dumas, Junior Jerez, and Robert Sierra Jalefe. So shout out to them. Boss, I can't wait to see you in Austin. I'll be back. We're going to roll some smoke, light some cigars, and tell some stories. I'll see you back over at Treaty Oak. Then we have the Barb's BQ. They've got a class going, and no, it is not on April 1st. It's the day before, March 31st. I love their email address. So shoot an email to yeehaw@barbsbq.com. That's going to take place in Lockhart, Texas. If you're interested, I'm going to have the information in the show notes.
Have you seen their shirt?
No.
Oh, no, it's great. Like
Is it?
these briskets are all my children, and it's someone holding two guns about to shoot.
Oh, God.
But no, like you should get the class before they get famous and have to up the cost of the class.
Yeah, because that's what's going to happen. They're going to take off, ladies and gentlemen. We're giving you the early ins on stock trading here for barbecue classes and knowledge. Get in while it's a good time to get
the cojones that you have to open a new barbecue joint in downtown Lockhart. Like
female staffed.
It doesn't matter.
Not knocking the females out, but it makes you stand out.
Yeah,
it makes you. That's like saying, "Hey, I'm opening up a all vegan tofu barbecue spot right next to Franklin's." What? Oh, you know something we don't. But no, they are going to absolutely Hulk smash it, and can't wait to report back. Next in the hot and fast news, you guys, I swear you guys think that this man pays us a check the way we talk about him, but he does not. He's just cooled on the other side of the pillows and keeps 10 toes down. Mr. Stan Hayes of Operation Barbecue Relief has released a cookbook, Grilling with Golick and Hayes. Mike Golick, NFL correspondent. Golick, yeah.
God, what was the Greeny and Golick? Mike and Mike in the morning.
Mike, there, yeah.
Before they hated each other.
They've got a cookbook out. You can order it off of the Operation Barbecue Relief site. It is $30, filled with all types of recipes, various chefs included. It's worth doing. It's worth getting. And another someone we spoke on 2-3 episodes ago, Miss Susie of Hey Grill Hey, has her double smoked ham kits are now available. And that's important because she cleaned house at the NBBQA, which we reported on a couple weeks back. So it's got to be good if she's winning first place awards with it. Go ahead. It's on her website. Just now released. Only thing that's not included is the water and the ham. So shout out to her. And, as we say in the opening, we bring you both the good, the bad, and everything in between in the world of barbecue. The barbecue world had suffered a loss recently, remembering Mr. Lee Ellis of Round Top Smokehouse and Ellis Motel, very near and dear friend in the barbecue community and very close to some of the cats over in Texas, such as the Mill Scale guys and so many others. Just wanted to pay our respects and say, condolences to his family and friends and those around him. Impact definitely felt throughout, and you never know the time you got on here. Everyone's clock runs out eventually, so make the most of the time that you have. Yeah, that pushes us through, yeah?
So get to questions?
I think we can get to the questions. This would be a great part for like a new question series sound. I'll let you.
Oh, no. I was actually about to ask. I was going to ask that if you have you had another song that's sitting in the thing that I could throw up before question time or whatever.
Yeah,
we got to name this segment.
Question time.
Oh, speaking of which, if you're watching live, we do pay attention to the questions in the chat. But we have right now we have all the questions that people submitted up on our iPads. So we will add your question usually to go on next week's show.
Yeah,
They're not getting ignored. It's just that we have a ton of questions come in already, and that we have them listed.
And we do our best to make sure we try to not do like double in each episode of everything, but yeah, why not? Just submit them in the queue or email it to us at thisweekinbarbecue.com. We appreciate that. So let's get these questions going. You want to get the first?
Okay, so best wood for smoking grilling steaks, and that comes from Primo_Supreme21.
Whenever it comes to best wood or like wood choices and selections, I think my blanket statement is always the same. Get whatever is easily accessible in your region, because you don't want to fall in love with a flavor profile that you cannot readily access. That's what I would suggest. So for me, just blanket statement, just depending on whatever region of the country you're in, get what wood is prominent, and then try using it in combination at different stages. When it's well seasoned, mid seasoned, and still a little green, do a little 2-to-1, a little 3-to-1 ratios on it. But that's my suggestion. What are you feeling?
So beef is interesting because I don't think you really want to use a lot of fruit woods, because I think it gets lost a little bit. Mm-hmm. Now,
definitely not apple
yeah.
or
So
cherry.
yeah. So but no, cherry has a different effect. Cherry will give it a really good color.
Yeah.
But you're not going to get those notes when you really eat like a piece of beef. Oak burns cleanest and will have the most mellow flavor. Hickory is going to be more intense. Mm-hmm. I mean, most people when they're grilling, like mesquite's the wood to go to.
Yeah.
Just because of the high heat.
Yeah.
You don't want to smoke with the mesquite, although Valentina's knows how to do it. I still don't know how they know how to do it.
I do a 2-to-1 when I'm popping mesquite in.
Right.
Hickory is 2 hickory, 1 mesquite. It's usually on the tail end. It's a fat one too.
So yeah, like figure out what wood is best for you. Avoid fruit woods when grilling. There's no point in using like a fruit wood on a dense piece of meat like beef, and just go with the flavor you like. Like if you like pecan over hickory, use pecan over hickory. Just experiment, like you said, experiment.
Yeah. No, I like that. We've got one that says, where's my first drop? There we go. How do you keep the flat from drying out before it's done? And that came from Alex Dev. And you can do, that's such a loaded question because there's 1,000,001 ways. So I'll just give you one or two. One, the absolute easiest way is to know your hot spots and know the temperatures of your rig. The second unconventional way, move your brisket. It is okay to move your brisket. I don't know who said like, no, once you put it down, that's the end of it. No, you can move your proteins around. It's perfectly okay. If you realize, oh, this is moving too hot, this is getting too hot, move it to the cooler side. You don't always have to throttle back or add more fuel or whatever. I think that's what everyone goes through. I'm in a stall. I need to add more heat. Just know where your hot spots are and move it there. If you're stalling, if it's cooking too much, know where your cool spots are and move it there. Two very simple things that doesn't require you ever having to pop the firebox.
I mean, or if you find that your briskets are getting dry, leave a little more fat cap on there. If you're going with a 1/4 inch, try leaving like a 1/3 of an inch or a 1/2 an inch of fat on there.
That's true.
Aerodynamic, like depending on what you're cooking on, a more aerodynamic trim can help out a lot. Sometimes, like, it depends on the quality of brisket you're on. Like, if you're buying like a low grade choice, it's like look at the flat, see how marbled it is.
Yeah.
There's sometimes you're not gonna get a good flat if you get a very lean unmarbled flat.
And that just brings up another point. The biggest deciding factor for the quality and the doneness and the process of your cook happens before the fire's even started. It happens in the protein you select and how you trim it. You made a great point. Watch how you're trimming. If your flat is always dry, maybe you're just trimming too heavy. Leave a little bit more on there. Maybe you're trying to rush it. Maybe you're running too hot.
Maybe you're running like you're leaving too much of the like. Sometimes, but like these packers will cheat and they'll leave too much on the flat and it's really thin, and that's what you're judging the dry flat on, is this really thin part that you're never going to be able to make moist, that you should have just trimmed off.
Exactly. So those are some factors to think of prior to even starting the fire and post adding any additional fuel. You're up, my friend.
All right. So, a lot of good questions this week.
Oh, yeah. They always come through. Thank you, guys. We really appreciate you. And while Brian looks for that question, if you can, do us a huge favor. Whatever you're listening to right now, swipe up, swipe left, and just hit a little thumbs up. Let us know you like it. And leave a little review. A review or 4-star, 5-star, whatever. We're happy for it.
All right. So this is a good one, actually. I like.
Yeah.
Have you tried offcuts much? So offal, heart, liver, tongue, etc., and your favorite results. That comes from Bruised.
Yeah. I grew up on offcuts. I'm an island boy, literally a farm on the top of the hill in Jamaica. So I grew up on livers. I love them. I really do. I've had lengua, tongue, numerous times. I think I've only had heart once, but I don't not like them. I love chicken feet, but maybe that's the farmer boy in me. I think a lot of these things depend on how and where you were raised. So for me, some people may be like, I'm never touching these, but myself, I'm like, no, I grew up on it, so it doesn't bother me at all. I enjoy it, and especially when it's prepared properly. Like, yeah, you have your livers and stuff as a kid just cooked to be cooked, but now when you do it in a nice red wine with some rosemary stems, a knob of butter, make sure your sauce doesn't break, you add a couple of things in there, slice it properly, it's delicious.
Yeah, so mostly for me is I've only messed around with barbecuing those cuts and sausage.
Okay.
Getting beef hearts, adding a little bit of beef hearts to sausage mix, chicken livers for the boudin, smoking those, and then adding them into boudin. I do want to do tongue. Like, my favorite taco is lengua.
Yeah.
But
nicely shaved. Oh, yeah, get down.
Yeah, but I've thrown that out there, but maybe doing a pastrami tongue. I've seen it. I think I've seen it done before, and I think that would be a really cool way of doing it. But yeah, do you consider beef cheek kind of an outside cut, or is it more? Is that getting more popular now?
I still don't. I don't think it's popular. I think it's in the know, but I don't think it's popular.
But would you consider that an awful kind of, or is it kind of just on the outskirts?
I'd say it's more the outskirts than an awful.
Okay. But
yeah, I like it. Oh, that's a good one. So I'll get the next. Let's see here. We talked about this just a moment ago. What is the best way to measure heat zones in my smoker? And I think we've mentioned it numerous times, and I know, I think even on the very first episode of This Week in Barbecue, I talked about it. The Brisket test. It's the best way to measure your heat zones, aside from going to go get a heat gun. It's the best visual indicator and cheapest way you can measure it. So if you're uncertain, go back, listen, and I think it's titled in numerous episodes already, but go check that out. Definitely doing the Brisket test is going to be the way for you to figure out how to measure your heat zones in your hot spots.
And if you're doing the Brisket test, if it says to cook it at 350 or 375, get your pit up to 300 or 350 or 375. Yeah. If you try and run the Brisket test at like 275,
doesn't work well.
It doesn't work as well. So
that was a good one. You're up next, my good man.
All right. Well, this one comes from this one's a little cheeky. Corner or middle piece? I don't know who asked that one.
I don't know. I don't know. You gotta.
His name rhymes with Rasheed.
I still don't know. I still don't know.
I mean, what are we talking about? Are we talking about pizza? Are we talking about cake?
I think it's all around. Corner, middle. If it's brownies, mac and cheese, pizzas.
Oh, it's always corner.
It's always corner.
It's always corner.
It's like, it shouldn't even be anything. Like, it's always corner because you get the best of both. You get the crispy. You get 2 sides of crispy and 2 sides of soft. What's there to complain about?
It's always corner.
It's always corner. What are they telling you? In sports, play the corner. Corner shot. It's the same thing.
The asterisk there is it has to be prepared well. Because if it's a bad corner, it's bad.
That's true. That's true. Very.
Have you ever had a corner of Stouffer's lasagna that was burnt to shit? That's when the corner gets real bad.
I can't tell you the last time I had lasagna.
I almost ordered the other night, actually.
I need to make that. I need to make some brisket lasagna. I haven't made it in years. Like, it's probably been 6 years since I made lasagna.
Are you a bechamel guy on the lasagna?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
But yeah, that's always corny.
Hold on. Okay, we've joked about this question, so can I just get it out of the way?
Go ahead and do it, man.
Who's your barbecue showdown top 3 out of Malcolm Reed, Aaron Franklin, and Matt Pittman? Well,
I guess Malcolm Reed, Aaron Franklin, Matt Pittman.
You can't give 3 choices and ask for a top 3.
Unless
Unless you want us to rank them.
Yeah, let's see.
Are they giving their top 3 and asking for your top 3?
Yeah, maybe they are giving. Yeah, let's go with that route. Maybe those are their top 3. Malcolm Reed, Aaron Franklin, and Matt Pittman, which no discredit to any, but I don't know if that's a top 3 list for barbecue showdowns. This is very.
Well, this is like, are we doing competition barbecue or are we doing just to cook? Okay, so this was just someone who
If
messaged.
it's competition, I think Aaron would be dead last because he doesn't do comps
Right.
ever.
I got a follow-up question after that. Speaking of competition barbecue,
Then leading it, I would have to put money on Malcolm. I think he's the most versatile, and then coming in the middle is going to be Pittman.
yeah,
But I'll ask Pittman. I'm seeing him in a week. I'll ask him. Like, where do you rank yourself?
he'll probably put himself at the bottom.
Probably. He's a humble and honest cat. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'll ask Pittman firsthand and I'll get back to you on that.
All right, so
What's the follow up?
Follow-up. So, Big Maco's Barbecue. He's a local guy.
Okay.
He did I think his first competition this past weekend. Have you ever done like a competition barbecue with like the pros and stuff?
In Georgia, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he was asking like out of like a perspective of someone just competing in barbecue that isn't a pro, that is kind of just jumping in. And the first thing that I was thinking of is it's an entirely different ballgame. It's an entirely different style of cooking.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of gaming the system.
Yes.
If you are going into competition barbecue and you want to compete on a pro level and you're not going out and buying absurdly expensive meats, like specific Wagyu, like American Wagyu, Duroc ribs, that kind of thing, and you're not amping up those flavors, because you got to remember the judges are taking one bite. They're not eating a whole slice of brisket. If you're not going to do that, then I don't know. Unless you're just like, hey, I just want to see where I would fit just cooking my
Where you
style.
rank up, yeah.
Right. But if you want to do it as a actual thing, you kind of have to commit that money. And a lot of people have, like, these people have sponsorships and backing, so that's not coming out of their pocket.
Yeah, it is very costly. I'll never forget. I was most humbled when Ash went to judge a barbecue comp, and there was a Rasheed Phillips category of cooking, and I was like, "Well, Mama, your boy made it. I got my own barbecue category these days, you know." But it was just like an island flavor style category, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, that was a good little question. I think we got time for let's try and knock out two to three more. Let's see here. Oh, so this is a quick and easy one. Perfect way to make a tri-tip in about 2 hours. That comes from Lars. For me, I'm going to tell you to do a reverse sear. So if you are capped at 2 hours, slow smoke for an hour 45, low and slow. Keeping it nice and moist. Make sure you build up a nice bark on it. And then hot sear, like flame sear. Finish it all off and then let it rest. Make sure you cut against the grain. And remember, it is 2 parts. So you're going to have to switch those grain cuts. What are your thoughts?
I mean, that's pretty much it. Like I think reverse sear for like non-fully smoked meats is one of the best ways to cook anything.
Yeah.
Like any thick cut piece of beef or pork, because like a reverse, like a thick cut pork chop that you're aiming for medium rare, reverse sear on that is just as good as like a ribeye.
We did a nice brown sugar bourbon one in L.A. Those bad boys were cold peanut butter thick. Ooh, those are good. And shout out to Cosmo. Cosmo had gotten roughly the similar question, but pertaining to chicken, and he says he does his chicken in a reverse sear, where he sears first, then moves it over to his cooler side and just lets it cook that way.
Yeah, I wonder, is it skin on?
Skin on, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I wonder how the skin holds up over that.
I think it would hold well if he gets that nice crisp, and then there's still that underlying fat that renders out once he pushes it to the cooler side to just slowly render off.
I mean, it would make sense because, like, if you look at someone who does it in cast iron, say like the brick chicken, that skin is down the entire time.
Brick chicken does not get enough love, man.
Dude, brick chicken's awesome.
It is so good and so simple. And yes, if you want to really get down, you use a brick.
Wrap it in foil first.
Wrap it in foil, yeah, because somebody's going to go to Home Depot and get a brick. I'm like, I broke a tooth too. No, wrap it in
It's
foil.
like, why is the back of my chicken look red?
So this is a quick one. I would love to send you some sauce to try. Love new opinions. So I just don't be trying people's sauces and stuff. If it's commercially packaged, like if you have a packaged product and it's filed and all that good stuff, yeah, send it away. We've got the P.O. box is somewhere, but it's in the bio of my Rasheed Phillips page and on Phillips Barbecue. I guess I'll drop it on the This Week in Barbecue page. But yeah, you can send it in there. I just don't try homemade stuff like that because that's how people get sick. And I've seen too many TikTok videos that end in that's why you don't eat from everybody's house. Not saying you're like that, but leaning on the safer side of caution. I really only try fully packaged stuff, but I'm always down to give some constructive criticism and feedback when it's sought. But yeah, that was a good one.
Just got to be safe.
Gots to be
For health reasons.
Gots to be, because we have seen some things. We have seen some things like nope, not even. I'll never forget watching. I think it was like MasterChef, and they were out like doing an event at the Kentucky Derby or something, and the one chef, they called him out on it because he kept dipping his tasting spoon back in the food he was serving. And they called him like, maybe you shouldn't be doing that when you're serving a crowd full of people. Like, and one was like, yeah, I'm just not trying that. So that's the reason why. Not knocking you, but just saying. You're up, my friend.
Oh, this is a pretty good question. What's the best way to reheat barbecue? Sean Dolan 22.
So we'll take not having a smoker out of the equation. So I would say oven. Put it out warm first, never out of the fridge directly into the oven.
Right.
Out of the fridge, let it temper, then into the oven at a low temp, like 225, depending on whatever the cut is. And hopefully it still has a fair amount of fat and stuff in there where you don't have to add anything to it to bring it back. I believe Franklin, whenever you order a brisket, like they give you the instructions of pop the bag, tear the wrapping, put a couple knobs of butter, then seal
unsalted
it.
butter.
Yeah, and then they do it that way. So sometimes using unsalted butter to add that fat and just a splash of like a chicken stock or a beef or bone stock to bring it back.
I mean, so that's the best way. Is if you have a vacuum sealer, vacuum seal it, and then sous vide, or you could do the poor man sous vide. Just a pot of simmering water for like 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah.
The biggest thing is like when you're done eating barbecue, I would recommend, there's Reynolds wrap and there's something called like food service film wrap. Find food service film wrap. Wrap your barbecue super tight in that, because with film service food wrap, you can do this. You can wrap that really tight in foil. As long as the food service film wrap is not exposed, you can reheat that in the oven. It'll keep all that moisture in.
Those juices.
But like, don't do it super hot. Like again, low temperature, kind of slowly reheat it.
Yeah, it's sort of like how cats wrap their briskets to hold.
So like, so if you don't have a sous vide or a vac sealer, You could do the food service film wrap, say brisket or pork, throw it in a Ziploc bag, do the air push out. So as you drop, leave a little corner open as you drop it into the pot of water. And so it will automatically push the air out, and then you zip it up and kind of do it that way. And if it's a pot of simmering water, you only want to leave it in there for, 10, 15 minutes max.
I think so. Once again, never directly out of the fridge. And let's round this out here. Let's see. Favorite barbecue dessert. If you were to do a pop-up with one protein, what would you choose and how would you serve it? So if we are talking about, I'll answer this for two ways. If we're talking about for profit, pulled pork.
Yeah, I was going to immediately say for profit.
For
don't
profit,
do brisket.
For profit, pulled pork. For flavor and experience, customer experience, oxtail. And I will do my smoked oxtail over either coconut rice and peas, or if it's a small dinner and like the charity one I did, it's spiced oxtail over Parmesan grits. What about you?
So profit, pulled pork. That's the easy one. Pulled pork or ribs. Ribs are, you can get away with. You'll have less profit.
I'm still going pulled pork.
All right. If you want to sell, and most people are ordering brisket now.
Yeah.
So probably brisket.
Brisket.
I mean, you're not going to make anywhere as much money, unless you're doing sandwiches and like making sure that you're weighing out every single single sandwich that you do. And
great. Here's a tip. We'll have this as a cutout for you guys. Tip for when you're doing, if you're getting into pop-ups and it's getting a little, you know, some of those skills can be costly. I get it. Go ahead to Walmart, get you a 12 portion muffin tray and use that to balance out your portions. And if you're really trying to expedite your food service, you can get the cupcake liners in there and just drop that and just snag and go. Put those in your holders. Just real quick way to just prep and knock through some stuff. But yeah, little fun workaround. I want to toss that out there to you guys. I think we have to do an episode of just like strictly pop-up stuff. See if people would be interested in that.
I mean, people have asked.
Really? Maybe we got to do, I want to do that at a pop-up. I want to do the live pop-up episode
we should just
at a pop-up.
Get a pop-up that's both of you, and then strap GoPros to both of you.
Oh, jeez.
And just live stream the whole day.
We're going, guys. We're just going through it. It's like those people on the Peloton. Come along for the ride. Yeah. We just got 20 more customers. Let's go. No. Listen, let us know. Let us know. Comment, DM us, send us an email over at thisweekinbarbecue.com if that's something you want to see, a first-person live stream Q&A pop-up about pop-ups as we pop up. It's a lot of pops.
A Q&A.
A Q&A. I'll even fly in pops. And you want to pick the last one?
I thought that was the last one.
Was that the last one?
Yeah, you
said
that's what you said. You said it was the last one.
You can't believe everything I say. Let's.
All right, well, okay. You know what you have to pick for the last one. You pick the last one, and you know what you have to pick.
I'm not picking the last one. I just picked the one.
No, there's one that you have to pick for the last one.
I'm not picking that one.
What? You're really not picking that one?
No, you pick. You say it then.
I'm not like if you don't know what I'm saying, then we're done. Like we should be done.
All right.
There's one that sticks out that you've given me so much shit for that you should ask me.
Fine. Why won't you try not flipping your ribs? That comes from Laney Lane.
That comes from Lane of Goldies. I haven't flipped my ribs this year.
It's true. We'll whisper
it. There we go.
We started. It was a New Year's resolution. So far, he's hanging tight with it. But no.
It wasn't a New Year's resolution.
I'm trying to help you out here. All right.
No. Look, there's nothing wrong with flipping your ribs.
There's nothing wrong. Flip ribs, standing ribs, however you want it. Oh, there was a question that came in that I do want to answer, and this one is the last question. I didn't put it on here yet, but I forgot who asked it, but they had asked, and I found it very interesting because I had to go back out to Pearl and make sure, because I've done it before, but let me check. Can a 500-gallon smoker hold 60 slabs. And I literally went out to Pearl and measured because I was like, yeah, I've held a fair amount on here. Like, how many? But it depends on the smoker. Remember, Pearl is one of my 500s, but she's a dual shelf. So it's not a Texas 500 where you got a single.
Well, you can get like
You can get a
like
dual.
I have racks for extra shelving for
Yeah.
my primitive. I would, even with the racks, I don't think I could do 60 rigs or 60 racks on a 500.
So Pearl is a 500 that's wide. You've seen Pearl. It's
Right.
and it's not your typical 500 tank that you'd imagine. It's Pearl's a big girl. She got a lot of back end on her. So my racks are very huge, and she's single door. So I measured out and I had some slabs, and I was able to get like 48. Now, if I had to, I could get 60, and here's how. You can get your rib racks, which is where you slot them vert instead of laying them flat. I don't know how I really feel about those. I'm not a huge fan, but if I had to, I could.
They're great for eggs.
I could definitely get a whole lot on there, and that's not. And there's so many ways to get creative with it. I've got so many hooks and S hooks. I could lay them flat, then hang S hooks from the top shelf down, and parallel hang some extra ribs. So yes, if I had 60 slabs, and they're like, this is your only rig. Yeah, I can make it work.
Well, I mean, yeah, we're talking. And by the way, 60 slabs of St. Louis or baby back. You're not fitting 60 slabs of full spares on there.
Yeah. Oh gosh, no.
Yeah.
It's definitely 60 slabs of St. Louis. No spares. Too much meat on the spares.
Yeah.
Ain't got room on it.
Question for a smoker that's that full.
Yeah.
What is heat management like? I mean, are you to keep it running and
Once
cooking that much?
So I've talked about this before. Once I've got I always load 50 to 70 degrees higher. Especially when it's a heavy load like that. So if I'm putting in 60 slabs and I want to run it at 260, when I pop the top, it's probably at 320, 325, because I know when I open up, all that heat's going, and I have to take the time to load those ribs back in. And once I close it, like my firebox is probably roaring at that time. So when it closes, it can come back up to temp fairly at a good time frame. And there's so many things. This is why like a class, like a full in-depth class, like you need a class just on ribs and different climates. But it depends if I'm doing this in the middle of winter, or am I doing this in summer, or is it raining? Because all of that goes into effect for how and when I load and the temps and stuff like
What's
that.
the humidity?
Yeah. There's a lot of factors. And when you do 60 like that, hey, they're like, mind you, that was a 45 to 48. There's no water pan there.
Yeah, there's no room for
There's
water
no
pan.
room.
You're going to be rotating a lot.
Exactly. So you have to decide how you're already going to put in work, but now you're going to always have to pop the top to rotate because you filled up so much you don't even have any room to keep the air in there moist. Now you're going into spritz. So those are things to keep in mind, but it's doable.
Yeah, I think on my primitive 500, it's probably only like 24 to 30, and with that extra rack, and because you can't use the one in the front because you're going to be about 50 degrees hotter there. You have to use the one. You can use the shelf on the back where you're only about 25 degrees hotter.
Yeah.
So,
but that's the answer, and that's the show. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you could for us, please leave a review, share it, tell a friend, and tell two friends. Once again, this has been This Week in Barbecue, your barbecue-focused podcast that introduces you to both the good, the bad, and everything in between in the world of barbecue. I've been your host, Rasheed Phillips, and joining me as always is Mr.
Brian Hull, be sure to email your applications.
Which we did get one, and we're going to go to next one. They want to jump on, so we're gonna make sure we get you on here, buddy. I really appreciate you submitting it, Matt. And the voice you hear, but the face you do not yet see, Mr.
Lee Garman.
And that's been our episode, ladies and gentlemen. Be good to one another.
Cheers.
Cheers.